Good morning, guys. Able to hear me? आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? Perfect. Okay. So today, small change. So we're going to do first MCQs. उसके बाद we'll also do Viceroys. Okay. So for those who don't know me, the people call me Ranganathan S.V.N. Kondala. So yeah, just in case you don't know me, I teach history. Information तो देना पड़ता है. Okay. So those who are not yet part of my Telegram group, do join this Telegram group. Plus students, and you can always be part of it. All my class updates, etc., do come on this particular channel. Varsha, I generally leave that to you on that to particularly on the basis of second round, third round analysis of the question paper that you do. Wherever you are doubtful about the two options, if you read the question a little properly and think a little, you will be able to answer such questions in majority cases. Okay. Consider the following statement. The United Nations Charter established 6 main organs of United Nations, which including the Security Council. While other organs of the United Nations make recommendations to member states only, the Security Council has the power to make decisions that member states are obliged to implement under the Charter. Which of the following statements given above is or are correct? कुणाल, वो जो प्रैक्टिस कहते हैं ना जिसपे आंख बंद करके हाथ लगा लो, दैट इज कॉल्ड इंकी पिंकी पॉन्की. यूपीएससी में इंकी पिंकी पॉन्की बिल्कुल नहीं चलता है. जनरली लक इज नॉट वेरी फेवरेबल इन सच केसेस. मतलब, don't get me wrong, but the unfortunate part about UPSC preparation is people who have never written an exam are also advising people how to write the exam. That's the problem. ये सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम यूपीएससी का यही है ना. United Nations established 6 main organs of United Nations, mainly including Security Council. It gives primary responsibility for maintaining international peace and security to the Security Council, which obviously may meet whenever peace is threatened. According to the UN Charter, the United Nations has 4 purposes to number one, to maintain international peace and security, to develop friendly relations among the nations, to cooperate in solving international problems and in promoting respect for human rights, to be a center for harmonizing the actions of nations. All members of United Nations agree to accept and carry out the decisions of Security Council, while other organs of UN make recommendations to member states. Only the Security Council has the power to make decisions that member states are then obligated to implement under the charter. So basically, Security Council terms ko the countries have to implement, whereas the General Assembly and the thing are basically on the basis of choice basis. So you may or you may not implement it, it doesn't matter. But Security Council, you're, as a nation, you're obligated to implement. I generally avoid bubbling in the first, Ramya. I mean, this is my point of view. I generally suggest to students to avoid bubbling in the first, because Most of the times hota kya hai कि first reading you're generally tensed, second reading, third reading of the question paper you actually realize a lot of questions where you've probably chosen the wrong option and done it last. Yes, midway into your exam you should bubble your OMR. Consider the following countries: Ghana, Togo, Sudan, Niger, Mali. Which of the above have borders with Burkina Faso? Which of the following border Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso has recently been in news now. Burkina Faso is a landlocked country that shares border with six neighboring countries: Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Ghana, Togo, Benin, Niger. These places. Right. Burkina Faso, Mali, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Benin, and Niger. Benin has been in news for what? किस लिए न्यूज में है बेनिन? Recently there's been a movie on Netflix about a female king, the woman king, about the Amazonian warriors of the Dahomey kingdom. Amazonian warriors of the Dahomey kingdom. Dahomey is basically Benin. Dahomey is Benin. Before the European colonization, Benin used to be one of the strongest nations in the African continent. They used to have this team of women warriors, the Amazonian women warriors. उनके बारे में. Okay. Consider the following statements about the International Labour Organization. It was created in 1919 as part of the Treaty of Versailles. It is the first and oldest specialized agency of the United Nations. It is devoted to promoting social justice and internationally recognized human and labor rights. Which of the following statements is or are correct? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. ILO was created as part of the answer. Yes, ILO has been created as part of UN, a United Nations agency whose mandate is to advance social and economic justice through the international labor standards. It was founded in 1919 as part of the League of Nations group. I mean, it is the first, also the oldest specialized agency of United Nations. Actually, in fact, ILO existed even before UNO. That's the beauty of ILO. The ILO has 187 members, 186 out of 193 UN member states plus Cook Islands. ILO headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. Around 40 field offices exist in the world. Employs about 3,400 staff, 107 nations. Almost 1,700 people work on technical cooperation programs and projects. It's, you can say, one of the oldest attempts to create a kind of labor control organization or labor benefits organization within the world standards. Now, consider the following pairs, movements, and organizations: All India Anti-Untouchability League, Mahatma Gandhi; All India Kisan Sabha, Swami Sahajanand Saraswati; Self Respect Movement, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. Which of the following pairs is or are correctly matched? All India Untouchability League, also Harijan Sevak Sangh, established in 1932, by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi after the signing of the Pune Pact. Right? Pune Pact के दस्तखत होने के बाद he, in fact, I'll tell you one more fact. ये हमेशा याद रख लेना. Gandhi actually quit active politics after the Pune Pact. He stayed away from active politics, or he moved away from active politics after the Pune Pact and focused entirely on the Harijan or the Dalit movement. All India Kisan Sabha, established by Swami Shahjanan Saraswati, also commonly called Akhil Bharatiya Kisan Sabha. It was, you can say, the peasant wing of the Communist Party of India, a very important peasant movement started by Swami Shahjanan Saraswati in 1936. In fact, before All India Kisan Sabha, there were numerous, you can say, peasant movements, farmer peasant movement, बहुत सारे चल रहे थे हिंदुस्तान में. Swami Shahjanan actually brought them together. And the, you can say, co-helper or a colleague of Swami Shahjanan, who also played a substantial role here, is um, NG Ranga, Acharya NG Ranga. Acharya NG Ranga. EV Ramasamy Naikar was a leader of the self-respect movement. S. Ramanathan and E.V. Ramasamy Naikar were actually the founder. Swaya Maryade movement, or the self-respect movement, to head the Tamil movement, Tamil Nadu. It was mainly a movement against Brahmanism. And see, self-respect movement was a practicalist movement. Like, for example, because black is prohibited in most of the auspicious events, those supporting self-respect and eventually the Dravidian movement, all the people wear black color shirts in holy movements. शादी में भी काला रंग पहनते हैं ये लोग. Because Brahmanical said you should wear white, they wear black. Nahi, Sandeep. Quit India movement was not a political movement. He was not a member of Congress when he was passing Quit India resolution. Remember this always. Gandhi was not a member of Congress after 1932. He did not pay the 4 Anna membership fees. A movie titled The Man Who Knew Infinity is based on the biography of. The movie title Man Who Knew Infinity. S. Ramanujan. In 2015, it was a biographical drama film based in 1991, based on the 1991 book named by Robert Canigal. It was the film actually stars Dev Patel as Srinivasa Ramanujan, a mathematician who was he's a poor middle class mathematician from Madras. He eventually got admission into Cambridge University during World War One, where he actually ended up becoming the pioneer of mathematical theories. In fact, Srinivasa Ramanujan's single greatest achievement is he actually became member of the Royal Mathematical Society without even completing his 10th class. He was not even a higher secondary qualified graduate. He had the distinction of getting a direct fellowship. Manjul Bhargavan, Ken Oro are associate producers of actually this film, The Man Who Knew Infinity. Consider that Man Who Knew Infinity is a previous year question from UPSC. Consider the following statements regarding the United Nations Convention for Combating Desertification. I'll tell Madhav. I'll give a suggestion. It is only convention stemming from direct recommendation of the Rio Conference's Agenda 21. It is a sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management. Its secretariat is administered by UNFCCC and is located in Geneva, Switzerland. Madhav, when you are attempting extra questions, please be aware, don't be in a hurry. यूपीएससी में जल्दी का काम शैतान का है. Never. Take your time, read the options properly. If the options are generally questions, nowadays question pattern is the questions also have an inherent meaning or an inherent question hidden in it. You are getting more negatives, or you may be doing more wrongs because you may be rushing up attempting the questions. You may be rushing up attending the questions. Answer is A. United Nations Convention for Combating Desertification, established in 1994. It is the sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management. It is only convention stepping from the direct recommendations of the Rio Conference Agenda 2021, Agenda 21. And see, the main focus of this convention specifically is on arid, semi-arid, and dry sub-humid areas, basically called dry lands. Somewhere the most valuable and most vulnerable, most you can say impacted ecosystems. The permanent secretariat of the convention was established under Article 23 of UNCCD, and it has been located in Bonn, Germany, not in Geneva. That's why option A, 1 and 2. Good morning, Ranjit. See, Madhav, you yourself are telling the answer. You are doing it wrong because of overthinking. Just don't overthink now. You yourself have a solution for this. Consider the following statements. Don't put pressure, Madhav. See, that's what I'm saying. See, my worry is always this, not only to Madhav, but every student here, every aspirant here. Guys, don't number one, don't overthink. Number two, don't pressurize yourself. The idea is to pass this exam, not to top this exam. Prelims, it hilariously becomes a joke if you do more than 100 marks in prelims. Nobody damn cares. It doesn't help you win in your ranking. Varsha, on the contrary, I always believe your first intuition when you read the question, chances are you're doing an error. The problem comes is, yeah, you're worried about. I'll tell why students are doing it wrong. Correct me if you think I'm not saying right, but you're more worried about the rank than the prelims of the day. ये problem है. एग्जाम हॉल में जब एग्जाम लिख रहे हैं ना, देर इज वन फोर्थ पार्ट ऑफ योर ब्रेन विच इज ऑलरेडी थिंकिंग कि अगर ये क्वालिफाई नहीं हुआ तो मेरा क्या होगा, व्हाट विल आई डू, घर में क्या बोलेंगे, गर्लफ्रेंड फोन करके क्या डांटेगी, टेंशन पूरा उसी में लग जाता है. यस संदीप, देवर ऑल. एंड I'll tell you how to overcome this. Even if tomorrow world turns upside down, UPSC prelims will happen. And given that your admit cards have come, you will write the exam. You like it, you don't like it, nobody damn cares. You're writing the exam. Kunal, 40% of the paper is previous year questions. 35 to 40% minimum. Tension बंद कर दो यार. Exactly. UPSC prelims is like made in China product. अब रिस्क लेके ले लिया तो ले लिया, खत्म. Nothing to change. You've taken the risk and you've bought it. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it. Be cool. I understand, but be cool. From now, be cool. Please, please. The first synchronous census in India was held in 1881. The responsibility of conducting the census rests with the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Which of the given above statements these are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. That may be due to, yeah, exactly, stress, nothing, not just under control, stress. Things. Answer is A. The conduction of responsibility of conducting decennial census rests with the Office of Registrars General and Census Commissioner under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. In fact, the first systematic population census in the modern terms was actually conducted between 1865 to 1872 in different parts of the country. The effort culminated in 1872 has been popularly known as the first population census. However, the first synchronous census in India was held in 1881. Understand this part? Right, Kunal, you're right. Please, guys, for everybody here, abhi jo students who are there in this class, please remember, not me, not any one particular coaching center. It doesn't matter. All coaching centers, all faculties, we end up creating a question paper which is possibly the most difficult, most hard, most horrendous paper. No, but institutes are preparing you for getting beaten black and blue before you start into the ring. Institutes are like boxing bags. You are actually in the mock exam. If you are making a decent 70 to 80 in your mock tests, you will be making at least 20 to 25% more in your prelims exam. सीसैट का एक ट्रिक है अरु, लोग ये भूल ही जाते हैं सीसैट में. इंग्लिश कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव पैसेजेस, रीजनिंग वाले ग्रुपिंग क्वेश्चंस होता है ना, चेयर के ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल सिटिंग ऑन द चेयर, ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल नॉट सिटिंग ऑन द चेयर, लॉजिकल रीजनिंग वाले क्वेश्चंस. इफ यू डू दीज टू एंड वन और टू क्वेश्चंस ऑफ द regular mathematics, you're done. Problem comes is students end up attempting max questions first. वो कभी नहीं करना, पहले इंग्लिश का कर दो, क्योंकि इंग्लिश टेक्स टाइम, बट एटलीस्ट योर टाइम इज इन्वेस्टेड appropriately. You need to pass majority question. A good number of, nearly half the paper comes from English questions and comprehensive passages. Your order must be like this: English, reasoning, उसके बाद arithmetics. General category student, you are attempting 90% of the paper. No if, no but. अब वो सी सैट हो या मम्मी सैट हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. जनरल कैटेगरी स्टूडेंट जीएस में सी सैट में 90% पेपर अटेम्प्ट करना ही पड़ेगा. If you are planning to attempt less than 90% of the paper and if you still want to clear prelims, something is wrong with you. सोच लेना. Consider the following statements. Every census in independent India from 1931 to 2011 has published data on scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, but not other castes. Socioeconomic caste census of 2011 was the first caste-based census since 1931 Census of India. देखो यार, you are at a stage where you don't have time for being tensed. I mean, for students, what अगले 10 दिन में एग्जाम है. एट दिस पॉइंट टेंशन के लिए भी टाइम नहीं है. वो तो एग्जाम के बाद 29th या 30th को कर लेंगे टेंशन वेंशन. ओके. कीप टेलिंग योर सेल्फ अभी टेंशन के लिए भी टाइम नहीं है. टेंशन वी विल डू ऑन 30th को. वी विल हैव अ सेपरेट यूट्यूब सेशन ऑफ ओनली टेंशन सेशन. सब मिलकर टेंशन करेंगे उस दिन. ओके. अभी अगले 10 दिन टेंशन के लिए भी टाइम नहीं है. ओ, यू राइटिंग नो कविता. गुड लक, गुड लक. सो फिलहाल तो टेंशन के लिए भी टाइम नहीं है. आंसर इज बी. इसका आंसर इज बी 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 बी. कैसे कैसे लोग हैं यार. Every census in India has published data of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, but not other castes. Before that, every census until 1931 had data on the caste. Socioeconomic caste census 2011 was a major exercise to obtain data about the socioeconomic status of various communities. Socioeconomic caste census was the first caste-based census since 1931 census of India. Ramya, that is like $1 million question. I know. I think probably even God cannot answer that question. As of now, we will have the exam on June 11th, but I don't know. तेलंगाना है. नहीं नहीं, एसएससी इज बेटर माधव. एसएससी इज बेटर. 2011 के बाद आफ्टर 2011 दे गेव वन नोटिफिकेशन फॉर ग्रुप 1 टीएसपीएससी. वो भी पेपर लीक. आफ्टर 11 years अंकल के वन नोटिफिकेशन. वो भी पेपर लीक. एग्जैक्टली. एंड वो भी क्या. दिस वाज नॉट वन पेपर लीक, ये तो मास पेपर लीक. मतलब टीएसपीएससी के जितने एग्जाम है सब बिक गए. And that too cheap fellows, they sold the paper for as cheap as 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs. चिल्लर टीम है पूरा. पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन का पेपर 2-3 लाख में बेच दिए बेकार लोगों ने. इज्जत ही निकाल दी पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन. So I'm not sure if they'll even conduct the exams. They're saying they will. I don't know. Exactly, no chance for non-Telugu. Pooja, seats are less even for the Telugus because they are always leaking papers, no? They were literally saving papers on a computer of the section supernet, which had no password. So anybody could just enter मार के कॉपी पेस्ट करके ले जा सकता था. क्योंकि उसको इतना सस्ते में मिला, उसने सस्ते में बेच दिया. पेस्ट करा. With reference to Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, consider the following statements. It's an intergovernmental organization of more than 25 members. It is headquarters in Vienna, Austria. According to its statutes, OPEC membership is open to any country that is a substantial exporter of oil and shares the ideals of the organization. Which of the given above statements is or are correct? UPSC will never be able to do this because if UPSC does anything like that, UPSC secretary, chairman, they'll be sitting in the Rajya Sabha and Rajya Sabha will beat them black and blue. मार देगी राज्य सभा. हाँ, यूपीएससी इज दैट वे, दे सेव द पेपर, कंप्यूटर का पासवर्ड भूल जाते हैं. Okay. OPEC or OPEC basically describes itself as a permanent intergovernmental organization. OPEC was created in Baghdad, September 1960, by founding members Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi, and Venezuela. As the word literally says, petroleum exporting countries. Headquarters is in Vienna, Austria, and the OPEC Secretariat, which runs the day-to-day organization. According to its statute, OPEC membership is open to any country that is a substantial exporter of oil and shares the ideals of the organization. So both the statements are correct. In which of the following groups are the four country members of OPEC Plus group? Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Malaysia, Mexico, Afghanistan, Russia, Russia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Sudan, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Libya, Kazakhstan. Madhav, the problem with TSPSC members is even in accountability, they can only listen to account. They don't have the ability. Good morning, session. Hi, Dinesh. Okay. OPEC Plus. OPEC Plus basically refers to an extension of the alliance of the crude oil producers, and it has been a very important, let's say, group taking OPEC into the right direction. OPEC Plus countries include Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mexico, Oman, Russia, South Sudan, and Sudan. From the options, it is A. Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Malaysia. Libya is not there, no. That's the reason why D is not correct. Libya is not a member of OPEC or OPEC Plus. Okay? Now, next. See, OPEC, as I said, OPEC is a petroleum exporting organization originally formed in Baghdad, 1960, September, by Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi, Venezuela. The main objective is to coordinate and unify petroleum policies and to secure fair and stable prices among the petroleum producers, an efficient economic and regular supply of petroleum and consuming nations, fair return on capital to those investing in industry. Headquarters is in Vienna. Literally, OPEC is actually called the oil cartel because these guys, I mean, although they say that they are about protecting interest, etc., the reality is it's basically an organization for price control and price fixing. Basically, oil producers come up together like a mafia and fix the prices. When petrol prices have to go up, when petrol prices have to go down, is all decided by OPEC. Consider the following statements about the International Financial Services Center. At present, it is the only financial services center in India. It is headquartered in Gift City, Gandhinagar. And which of the statements above is or are correct? Gift City. Answer is C. IFSC, International Financial Services Center, is actually a unified authority for development regulation of financial products, financial services, and financial institutions. It is headquartered in Gift City, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. At present, it is the only international financial services center in India. Its main objective is to develop a strong global connection and focus on the needs of Indian economy as well as serve the international financial platforms for entire region of the global economy as a whole. So IFSC is basically located in Gujarat. Poverty and Shared Prosperity 2022 Correcting Course report is released by World Bank, UNESCO, UN Development Program, and World Economic Forum. Poverty and Shared Prosperity 2022. It is actually published by World Bank, Poverty and Shared Prosperity 2022, correcting courses both about poverty and inequality sort of report. It said that both poverty and inequality have actually gone up sharply. Global poverty reduction has been slowing down since 2015, but COVID pandemic and war in Ukraine have completely reversed the outcomes actually, according to this report. World is unlikely to meet the goal of ending extreme poverty by 2030. And in 2020 alone, the number of people living below the extreme poverty line rose by 70 million. So did inequalities. Now, see, many people forget to, I mean, this is my point of view. I mean, with most of these reports which talk about poverty and etc. nonsense, many people forget to understand that world was not working for nearly 2 years. I mean, world's GDP died for 2 years. Not India, not Pakistan, not China, not America, not Britain. Nobody was working. COVID की वजह से. So if United Nations actually, this World Bank and IMF and United Nations, if these guys are really thinking that nobody is going to work and still poverty is going to get eradicated, then we need to know exactly what are they smoking. Ramya, ideally there is no way to really guess them, but financial group, World Bank, financial में World Bank, World Economic Forum यही होता है. Social outlooks was mainly with the social institutions of United Nations that way only, because these are mainly factual questions. I never understood the logic of how, I mean, even recently, Global Happiness Index. If people in Pakistan and Sri Lanka are happier than India, then something is wrong with the data. No, no, Sandeep, the whoever has produced the Global Happiness Index report was actually category of people who were drinking free phenyl. ये हेरोइन गंजा वाला एक्सपेंसिव लॉट भी नहीं है, ये फिनाइल पी के खुश होने वाले हैं. This is that level because totally the report was a farce. If Pakistan is happy, then I don't even know what I should say. हाँ exactly. Harpic, yeah, phenyl, वही level के लोग हैं ये. I mean, this is my point of view. You may disagree with me. I never understood the logic of how somebody in Sri Lanka can actually be happy. People in Sri Lanka were fighting on the streets. People in Pakistan were attacking the army just last week. इंडिया में द बिगर टेंशन इज पानी पूरी में खट्टा पानी चाहिए या मीठा पानी चाहिए. वी आर इंडिया इज अ कंट्री वेयर पीपल आर मोर वरीड अबाउट शुड दे ईट द स्पाइसी पानी पूरी और द मीठा पानी पूरी. I mean, that's the biggest tension we have in life. Good morning, Shweta. हाँ, एक्स्ट्रा प्याज दे दो. हम इंडिया में ही इसी में लगे हैं सब. I never understood the logic of that, anyways. Consider the following statements about the UN Human Rights Council. It's an intergovernmental body with United Nations system. Yeah, ये एक और नौटंकी बाज दुकान है ये. UN Human Rights Council. It has ability to discuss all thematic human rights issues and situations that require its attention throughout the year. Which of the following statements is or are correct? I mean, honestly, that's my view. I've always been. India is actually, so we are not the best country in the world. I understand. We have our problems. We are definitely not the worst. We are definitely, for sure, we are not the worst. I may not agree with Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi every time, but I know I am being led, and I am currently led by some of the best leaders of the world. My opposition, my Mallikarjun Kharge, my Rahul Gandhi are very good. My Narendra Modi, my Amit Shah are also very good. They know their jobs and they're doing a fantastic job for me. मुझे इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता इनके इंडिपेंडेंट पॉलिसीज क्या है. ओवरऑल बोथ ऑफ देम आर गुड. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी. At least I don't have an Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif. I never understood the logic of why this Human Rights Council even exists. It's one of the worst joker council of the world. Human Rights Council is an intergovernmental body within the United Nations system made up of 47 states, responsible for the promotion and protection of all human rights around the globe. The reality is they've never done anything useful for human rights protection anyways. It has the ability to discuss all thematic human rights issues and situations that require its attention throughout the year. It meets at UN office in Geneva. The worst part of human rights council is my point of view is they only discuss, they do nothing. Like for example, Rwandan genocide 1991, they did nothing. uh, Kashmir dispute, the Gilgit Baltistan occupation by government of Pakistan, they've done nothing. Human rights violations by Russia in Donetsk or Ukraine in Donetsk, they've done nothing. These guys do nothing. And human rights violations within mainland America where Africans are beaten black and blue and often killed, nothing. Nothing. America has one of the worst human rights records, if you observe. Afghanistan crisis, nothing. Exactly. South Sudan, French mercenaries, कुछ नहीं बात करें. The most of the times, what I've been seeing is over the last 5 to 6 years, the only thing United Nations Human Rights Council does is it plays the bigul of Pakistan against India. पीपड़ी बजाते रहता है बस. India, Kashmir, India. Yeah, बस that's it. Single point agenda. It is, they can actually change the name from Human Rights Council and put it as India Complaint Council, specialization in Kashmir. Thus, they've become an organ of ISPR, Interstate Public Relations, ISI's media wing. Consider the following statements about the UN peacekeeping forces. According to UN Charter, every member state is legally obligated to pay their respective share for peacekeeping. Peacekeeping forces are contributed by UN member states on a mandatory basis. Which are the following statements? These are correct. उसको संदीप, the UN guy who spoke nonsense about Kashmir, उसकी औकात तो इतनी गंदी हो गई that people have started blasting him on Twitter. I mean, obviously, Jaishankar sir was talking. Now it has come to a point where even school kids are tweeting him and saying, "Muh band kar." Like, people have given up all the diplomatic respect for him and they're blasting him left and right. Now, look, see, the answer here may be a little complicated. The answer is A. UN peacekeeping is actually a joint effort by the Department of Peace Operations and Department of Operational Support. Every peacekeeping mission is authorized by Security Council. Financial resources of peacekeeping operations are a collective responsibility of the UN member states. Every state is legally obligated to pay their respective shares for peacekeeping. See, the peacekeeping share can be done either as military or as finance. It doesn't matter. Huh. According to the charter, every UN member is legally obligated to pay their respective share for peacekeeping. UN peacekeepers are commonly called the blue beret or the blue helmets. They include soldiers, police officers, civilians. Peacekeeping forces are contributed by member states on a voluntary basis only, not on a mandatory basis. Yes, all members are legally obligated to pay their respective share for peacekeeping. Now, see, the only difference, Pooja Jain, is either payment ka matlab not just sending the military. Those countries which do not send military can give financial assistance. Military sending is not mandatory. Obviously, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, we send our men. We contribute less financially, but send our men to do the jobs. Civilian staff of peacekeeping operations are international civil servants recruited and deployed by UN Secretariat directly. Food and Agriculture Organization is associated with which of the following reports and programs? Codex Alimentarius Commission, International Plant Protection Convention, Global Important Agriculture Heritage System. Select the correct answers from the codes given below. Oh, yes, Sudan, yes. So, CRPF battalion tha wo. CRPF Women's Battalion. 1 and 3, 2 only, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Food and Agriculture Organization, obviously UN wing, publishes reports. Which report was that? It's actually D. Yes. Global Report on Food Crisis. Every 2 years, FAO publishes State of the World's Forests. FAO and World Health Organization also created a Codex Alimentarius Commission in 1961 to develop food standards, guidelines, and texts. In 1996, FAO organized the World Food Summit. The summit concluded with the signing of Rome Declaration, which established the goal of halving the number of people who suffer from hunger by the year 2015. In 2004, right to food guidelines were adopted, offering guidance to states on how to implement their obligations of the right to food. FAO created the International Plant Protection Convention IPCC 1952. FAO is the depository of the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. And the globally important Agriculture Heritage Systems Partnership Initiative was conceptualized in 2002 during the World Summit. So all the reports are given by FAO. Consider the following statements about Crimean Peninsula. It is a region in the Caucasus, officially part of Russia. It is located on the northern coast of Black Sea. Which of the following statements these are correct? Exactly, Kunal. One-liners, direct fact questions. इनमें कुछ guess नहीं कर पाओगे. I mean, guessing in those kind of stuff is basically playing risk. Which of the following statements above these are correct? Answer is B. Caucasus is a region between Black Sea and Caspian Sea consisting of Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and some parts of southern Russia. Caucasus is not a part of Russia completely. It is shared by other countries as well. Crimea is located in the north coast of Black Sea and on the west coast of the Sea of Azov. The only land border is shared with Ukraine's Kherson Oblast on the north. Now, one question. Why is Crimean Peninsula so important for Russia? Why is Crimean Peninsula so important for Russia? Ever thought of this? Yes, warm water seaport. It is the only warm water seaport in the north. Consider which of the following statements about Maratha civil war between 1707 to 1714 are true. It broke out between Tarabai and Shahu immediately after the latest release by the Mughals. In Battle of Khed in 1708, Shahu was able to defeat Tarabai and occupy Satara. It was only in 1714 that Tarabai was officially finally defeated and imprisoned by Shahu. The southern part of Maratha kingdom continued to be under the control of descendants of Rajaram and Kolhapur as their capital. Select the answers from the quotes given below. 1 and 2, all of them. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 3. संदीप यहाँ ये ऑप्शन नहीं है. Exactly, this was a googly. This is like bouncer. सुर बोल का चला जाता है. Maratha civil war is basically the dispute between Shahu Maharaj and Shivaji II, son of Rajaram. Answer here is A. It was basically a Maratha civil war was essentially a dispute between Tarabai and Shahu Maharaj. Tarabai, mother of wife of Rajaram Bhau. And when Shahu was released by the Mughals, because Shahu was in Mughal jail. After the death of Aurangzeb, Shahu Maharaj was released by, remember, Zulfikar Khan. Southern part of Maratha kingdom continued to be under the control of descendants of Rajaram with Kolhapur. Yes, no. Remember, Kunal, remember I tell in the class, Balaji Vishwanath finally brokered peace in which Rajaram's son Shivaji II was eventually given Kolhapur as, and he established Kolhapur as a separate kingdom apart from the Marathas. Well, this question is actually very, very easy if you would have thought a little bit. ये सब मैंने क्लास में डिस्कस किया था मराठास में. Two people are separated from the Marathas in the history of Marathas. एक तो राजाराम भाऊ and his descendants in Kolhapur. बाद में रघुनाथ राव पेशवा was given away Satara, if you remember, by the British. Treaty of Salbai and Treaty of Purandar. Anglo Maratha. Okay. Question दो तीन बार पढ़ना पड़ता है. That's where the problem comes. People don't read the question. Which of the following statements about Balaji Bajirao are true? He imprisoned Ram Raja, grandson of Raja Ram, and nominated heir of Shahu at Satara. This is actually a question coming from the newspaper. Indian Express पे article था इन पे. In 1751, he became the official head of Maratha Confederacy and shifted the capital to Pune as a symbol of his pact. During his Peshwaship, Maratha powers reached its zenith. And in 1752, he signed the agreement with Mughals by which he became the protector of Mughal Empire from internal as well as external enemies. Choose the correct answers from the quotes given below. Balaji Bajirao. What is Balaji Bajirao also known as? Nana Sahib Ban? Answer is D. See, these are the some of these questions are basically, you can say that, terrorist type of questions. ये क्वेश्चन में अगर कुछ पता नहीं है तो छोड़ देना, ज्यादा उनमें टेंशन मत लेना. Who called मुआज़म शाह बेखबर और बेखबरी शाह? कफी खान, जुल्फिकार खान, काम बख्श, नूरजहान. Who called Muazzam or Bahadur Shah I as Shah Bekhabar? Wasn't it Kafi Khan? हाँ, commemoration था. वर्षा commemoration था. There's some commemoration, there's some remembrance of Shivaji and his descendants by the government of Maharashtra. October 2022. Kafi Khan called him Shah Bekhabar. Yeah, Bekhabri Shah. He is Muazzam. was the eldest son of Aurangzeb. He is also called Bahadur Shah I. Bahadur Shah I. This I tell multiple times in the class. Zulfikar Khan was his diwan or his wazir. Kafi Khan was the historian. Which of the following Mughal rulers who tried to create affinity between Sikh and Marathas by granting the right to collect Sardesh Mukhi of Deccan but not Chauth to Marathas? Jahandar Shah, Muazzam, Akbar, and Farrukhsiyar. मराठास को सरदेश मुखी ऑफ दक्कन दिया था बट नॉट चौथ. This comes in class 2, second class of modern India, the rise decline of Mughals. वहां पे I discussed this very clearly. It is why, guys, why wasn't it Muazzam and Zulfikar Khan who gave Sardesh Mukhi of Deccan to the Marathas but not Chauth? किस बात का confusion है? What made you think Jahandar Shah? Jahandar Shah was nothing. It was Muazzam, no. Jahandar Shah period में the relations between Sikh and Mughals got ruined completely by the killing of Banda Bahadur. फारूक सिया मुआजम के पीरियड में relations between Marathas and Mughals became strained because of the demand for chauth and Mughals not giving chauth. Which Mughal ruler's permission? Which Mughal ruler gave permission for collecting chauth and Sardesh Mukhi on Maratha land to Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath? Farrukh Siyar, Rafiuddin Rafiuddaulah, Muhammad Shah. Which Mughal gave the right to collect chauth and Sardesh Mukhi on Maratha lands to Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath? Very easy to guess. Farrukh Farrukh Siyar. Pakka A. Farrukh Siyar. Who among the following Mughal emperor became the first pensioner of East India Company? This is previous year question, guys. These are previous year questions. UPSC prelims. First pensioner. It was Akbar the second. पेंशन का पैसा बढ़ाने के लिए ही Akbar the second eventually asked Ram Mohan Roy to go to London to talk to the king. That is when he gave him the title Raja, and that's how he became Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Last question for the day, and now we will start Viceroys. Consider the following statements related to Mughals' decline. Mughal nobles were well known for their loyalty, but war of successors degenerated the nobility, leading to the decline of Mughals. Mughal Empire declined due to decentralization of administration. Which statement these are correct? Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Answer is A. A. Not because of over decentralization of administration. Nobility was completely leading to war of successions. Nobility was leading completely to war of successions. Okay. Now let us begin the discussion on the viceroys, guys. See, in the last class, we've seen till Canning properly. Canning's successor was Lord Elgin of 1862. He was actually the governor of Jamaica. Um, Elgin was a successor in governor of Jamaica, and he was also previously working in Canada. And then eventually he became Viceroy of India. Elgin was Viceroy of India only for 1 year. Yes, continue कर लेंगे ना, खत्म ही कर देंगे. Viceroys खत्म ही कर देंगे, guys, because it's becoming pending. Exam नजदीक है इसलिए. Elgin belonged to Eton and he studied in Christchurch and Christ College. He was very senior and he has also been a colleague of Dalhousie and Canning. He was appointed the High Commissioner and plenipotentiary, basically a diplomat in China and Far East in 1857. During Elgin's period, the Second Opium War happened. And it was in the Second Opium War that Elgin eventually destroyed the Summer Palace, the Beijing Summer Palace, the Oriental Palace in Beijing, and destroyed it and took over Hong Kong. And in the world, Britain is the only country who actually fought another country to force the another country to become a drug addict. एक देश को नशेड़ी बनाने के लिए जंग का इस्तेमाल सिर्फ ब्रिटेन कर सकता है और कोई नहीं कर सकता. पूरे देश को नशेड़ी बना रखा है इन लोगों ने. Forced the king emperor to sign the Peking Convention and added the, which eventually added the Kowloon Peninsula to the British Crown colony of Hong Kong. And eventually Hong Kong became part of the British Crown. Very important site. Elgin के period में we see the growth of Wahhabi movement. See, Wahhabi movement is one of the most important movements which happened during that period. It was basically a kind of rebellion and a revolution done by the Mohammedans of Northwest India. Remember this terminology, very important for your prelims. Northwest Mohammedans only did this Wahhabi movement. Yes, obviously was a revivalist movement. Started in the 1830s. 1830s. The Wahhabi movement. See, actually, the reality of Wahhabi movement is they protested or they were raising in revolt against Christianization in India, which was rapid Christianization, which was going on. Wahhabi movement was the first Muslim movement to emerge in response to Western influences. It was a revivalist movement. Basically, the word revivalist means Wahhabis wanted to bring back the original form of Islam, which was there. Original form. And Wahhabis believe that Muslim society or Islamic society of India has actually become un-Islamic with non-Muslim practices creeping into the society. So they wanted to stop that. Shah Waliullah, Saint Shah Waliullah Dehlavi of UP or Delhi, and Abdul Wahab of Arabia are the people whom we believe to have started this. Original photo of Shah Sahib. Their teachings were popularized by eventually Syed Ahmad Barelvi or Syed Ahmad Rai Bareli and Shah Abdul Aziz. Abdul Wahab of Arabia, Shah Waliullah of Delhi, these two started Wahhabi Islam. Syed Ahmad Rai Bareli and Shah Abdul Aziz are the ones who popularized it in India. ये जो जिहाद वाला concept है ना, holy war, it's a Wahhabi concept. It started with Wahhabis. It started with Wahhabi because these Barelvi and Shah Abdul Aziz, They believe that India has become Dar ul Harb, the land of infidels, land of non believers. They wanted to convert India into Dar ul Islam, the land of believers. So these people believe India has been a land of non believers or infidels. They wanted to convert it into Dar ul Islam, Dar ul Harb, HARB. See, Sandeep, I'll tell you. Originally, Wahhabis were only doing jihad or correcting course against the Christians, against East India Company, against the British. Once the British were gone, they became radical against all others. Wahhabis का very extreme version ही today what we call Salafi movement. अलकायदा बैच जो है ना इसी में से आता है. आईसिस अलकायदा जो सलाफीज हैं वहाबी का एक्सट्रीम वहाबी Dar ul Harb, Dar ul Islam. Main concepts these people promoted. That India has become a land of kafirs and they need to convert India into Dar ul Islam. And these people, Wahhabis, because Northwest mein the, so they used to fight Maharaja Ranjit Singh a lot. Ranjit Singh was the ruler in Punjab, Northwest India. They're fighting Ranjit Singh a lot. After the British annexation of Punjab in 1849, after British took over Punjab in 1849, they started directing jihad against the British. In fact, in 1857 revolt, Wahhabis played a substantially big role. It is because of Wahhabis the idea and the term of sedition was added to Indian Penal Code. In fact, 1870s में Wahhabi movement का reaction ही है that Britishers ended up adding the term sedition into IPC. Most Muslims in India are Hanafi. Majority is Hanafi. Hanafi. Okay, now the Ambala campaign also happened during Elgin's period, 1860 to 63, mainly in northwest frontier to suppress the tribal insurgency. Wait, Wahhabi insurgency. Wahhabi insurgency को suppress करने के campaign को Ambala campaign कहते हैं. It is called Ambala campaign. Sir William Denison, the governor of Madras, succeeded Elgin as the governor general under Act of 1861, only for a brief period. Only for a brief period. Eventually, Sir John Lawrence, who had performed very well in Punjab and was also very active in the first Anglo-Sikh War, was given the viceroyalty. And during Elgin's period, Bengal conferment of first MA degree from Calcutta University also happened. Supreme Court and others were eventually merged, and Calcutta High Court was also started during Elgin's period. Okay, during Elgin's period. Elgin had good career, but unfortunately his time was cut short. Within 1 year of coming to India, he died. तबीयत खराब हो गई थी. Madhav, if I mean this is my point of view, you may disagree with me. Sometimes sedition is needed. The sedition law is very, very needed because see, in a democracy, you also need control. If a democracy goes to extreme liberalism, it will lead to anarchy. People should know what their limits are rather than know what their rights are. This is my point of view of democracy. Elgin is actually buried in a Dharamshala in India. Elgin was succeeded by Lord Lawrence. Lord Lawrence. Misuse नहीं हो रहा है माधव. Misuse नहीं हो रहा है. I mean, I'll tell you the problem, guys. Listen to this. Listen to this very clearly. This is a modern state. This is a democracy. You have right to free speech, but just because you have right to free speech, you can't go onto the streets of India and say President of India Murdabad. ये नहीं चलता. You can't just because you have free speech, You can't just go and talk any nonsense you want. Supreme Court of India has also told multiple times that your right to free speech is not an ultimate right and not a substantially complete right. It's a right with limitations. People tend to forget this. I'll tell what will be called a misuse. In this country, people have the right to sit and say the prime minister in office every word. कोई मोदी को चौकीदार कहता है, कोई मोदी को चोर कहता है, कोई मनमोहन सिंह को मूक नायक कहता है, and people still get away with it. That is freedom. Manmohan Singh was abused, Narendra Modi was abused, P.V. Narasimha Rao was abused, Indira Gandhi was abused vulgarly, but never used, never misused the law. There is a limit to whom you talk about. Which good leader used, I mean, Madhav, you tell me, no, which good leader was this? Which good leader is this? Every law has certain weaknesses and certain vagueness to misuse. I mean, look, our entire principle of justice is pretty simple, guys. We want to ensure justice, not just create a system of justice. But at the end of the day, we want also social balance. It's a very, very important thing. Sedition law, and trust me, guys, sedition law is here to stay. UAPA, POTA are here to stay. You can't just talk against the government of India, regardless of which political party, it doesn't irrelevant. You can't talk against the government of India, against the army of India, against the constitution of India and expect to get away with it by saying that you have free speech. It doesn't work that way. गवर्नमेंट है, पिटेगी. पिटना नहीं है, मुंह बंद रखो. Simple logic. It's a government. There is always a way to protest. Multiple patterns in India to protest. You can't just be violent. Exactly. Exactly. People should know where they are crossing the line. And we are also democracy in the learning, guys. बहुत मुश्किल के बाद मिला हमको democracy. Okay. Now, Lord Lawrence. Lawrence is coming from a very good background. Actually, his father previously served in British Army in India. His elder brothers, Sir George Lawrence, Henry Lawrence. Remember 1857 leaders? The East India Company officers of 1857 who took control back from Lucknow, Kanpur. George Lawrence and Henry Lawrence. उसके भाई थे. Lord Lawrence's brothers, elder brothers. So he's coming from a very good, distinguished background, has seen India all his life. He knows ins and outs about India. He wanted to join military like his father, like his brothers, but his father enrolled him in East India Company College or Hellisbury College and eventually made him a civil servant. He spent 2 years at Hellisbury and he was admitted. He was neither idle nor industrious. But the beauty of Lord Lawrence is he is actually the what I call the sleeping dog. He was not coming to India as a big aim. He was just like a 9 to 5 bureaucrat. बस काम करने आए थे बस. That's it. He was not here for expansions. He was not here to take control. Nothing. Not necessarily about the background. I give you a background because just to give you an idea of where they come from. So that's it. He cut in fact, Lord Lawrence, Lord Elgin, Lord Mayo, who came after Lawrence, and Lord Northbrook. These four are known as viceroys who took the policy of masterly inactivity. I mean, they had the power, they did not want to get into. Elgin, Lawrence, Mayo, Northbrook, the first four viceroys. They were the viceroys of masterly inactivity. Very, very, very important for your prelims. The main goal of British policy during this first four Viceroys period was to let things go quietly so that everything could rest. I mean, in fact, after Northbrook came Lord Lytton, who introduced the forward policy, the policy of confrontation. Got the difference? And that's why from Lytton to Curzon, our relations got spoiled completely. And from Elgin to Northbrook, we see the growth of India, Congress, pre-Congress associations, political activity, etc. अब समझ में आ रहा है? When government was following masterly inactivity, India grew politically. When they introduced forward policy, India protested politically. I mean, Shesham, no major confrontation. I mean, there was nothing discriminative about Indians or attacking Indians, nothing like that. In fact, Lawrence even introduced a scholarship scheme. And during this period, we see the war with Bhutan. Indo-European telegraph line was introduced from Karachi, Persia, and Turkey. So India got connected directly through telegraph to London. He followed strictly the masterly inactivity policy of masterly inactivity. High courts of Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay became active. They started to work fully. The Punjab Tenancy Act was also passed during Lord Lawrence's period. The Punjab Tenancy Act. And in 1868, annual grant of 6 lakh rupees to Sher Amir Ali of Afghanistan was also done, and a railway line between Ambala to Delhi was opened. So if you see, none of these was content, you could say, confronting Indians or restricting Indians or attacking Indians or discriminating against Indians. Everything was pretty cool. So Lord Lawrence period, no big effect, no big impact. Karachi Turkey telegraph line, masterly inactivity. High courts become fully active and existent. Punjab Tenancy Act, 1868. Same like Bengal Tenancy Act. Okay. Lord Lawrence was then succeeded by another Viceroy. Obviously, he also followed masterly inactivity. His name is Lord Mayo. Mayo came to Viceroy Mayo came as Viceroy of India in 1869 until he was assassinated in 1872 by one of the prisoners in Andaman Nicobar, Lord Mayo. Mayo is very popularly known for financial decentralization in India. He is the guy who asked British provinces in India to collect taxes and maintain their own independent budgets. Just like how we do today. We have state budget, we also have union budget, no? It's coming from Mayo. Richard Brooke, commonly called Mayo, Earl of Mayo, fifth Earl of Mayo, and Charter Brooke. So he was sixth Earl of Mayo. He studied in Trinity College in Dublin. He was an Irish. He traveled extensively throughout Russia. He had very well knowledge from his travels and very extremely useful to him in the later stages of his career. He was very smart, intelligent, and he's done distinguished service for the British Empire. He was eventually appointed as the fourth Viceroy of India in 1869. He was commonly called Lord Mayo. In 1871, he is the guy who ordered the first general census in India. Just to give a general picture of subcontinent's various people, population, and their age size. He was also in charge of the Indian Statistical Survey. He established the Department of Revenue, Department of Agriculture, and Department of Commerce, which eventually became today we call Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Revenue, Ministry of Agriculture. And Mayo was very, very focused on improvement of sanitary conditions of Indian Army troops. Because British Indian Army पे government was spending very less. I mean, their living conditions, their sanitary conditions were pretty horrendous and pretty bad. Mayo tried to fix it. He introduced the most, I mean, he also introduced the Snyder rifle. He did improvements to the sanitary conditions. During his period, infrastructure was developed a lot in the country, including massive extension of roads, railroads, and canals. Mayo was very, very focused also on prison reforms. So, infrastructure, prison reforms, statistical survey, departmental systems, Department of Revenue, Department of Agriculture, etc. Also, the first census. Lord Mayo particularly wanted to improve the living conditions of inmates, prisoners in Andaman Nicobar Islands. During his period, we also see the passage of Indian Evidence Act, most significant legal reform during his tenure. Uh, he also brought uniform set of laws, in fact, uniform set of evidence laws. Legal system previously differentiated and applied according to the caste, community, and social group in question. That all he taught. Mayo's another greatest contribution is the establishment of the state railway systems. See, generally, until Mayo came, we used to have a GIPR, Great Indian Peninsula Railway. He started breaking it up. The Central Railway, the Eastern Railway, the Southern Railway, Madras Railway System, His Exalted Highness Nizam State Railway during his period. And Mayo Resolution 1870 is the pinnacle of financial decentralization in India. Lord Mayo actually broke the economic system to decentralize and give provincial administrations more authority financially. And he gave provinces the authority to use local taxation to balance their own budgets. No need to worry about the money to be coming from viceroys. He drastically cut military expenditures, military spending, civil administration expenses, also instituted a salt tax, raised income taxes. In fact, if you observe, isn't it very clear that Mayo was not doing anything which was detrimental to Indians? Rather, he was actually giving a proper governance system, no? हर तरफ से हमारे लिए अच्छा ही कर रहा था Mayo. He was not doing anything bad. He also insisted on the necessity of primary education among Indians and how Indians have to be educated on primary basis. He established a system of codified laws for effective implementation of benefit of inmates. This is what we call the prison code of conduct. You know, there is a prison code, Mayo code. He established the Rajkot College and the Mayo College of Ajmer. In fact, Mayo College of Ajmer, it exists even today, was basically a college instituted or created to educate Indian princes in politics. It's a school even today, the Mayo College, where they teach everything of the political group, the elite, the disciplines, etc. of the Western model. Lord Mayo eventually, unfortunately, was attacked and killed by Sher Ali on February 8th, 1872. In fact, Lord Mayo helped to stabilize India's northwestern borders by strengthening ties with Afghanistan's Amir, another Sher Ali. So he wanted to reduce the Russian influence on Afghanistan and try to create Afghanistan as a buffer state. Actually, prison reforms he introduced. In order to check the implementation of prison reforms, he went to Andaman Nicobar jail. Unfortunately, in the jail, an inmate killed him. In the entire history of Indian governor generals and viceroys, Mayo is the only viceroy who was killed by an inmate. Mayo College of 1875, even today, remains one of the best. Yes, cellular jail, yes. Colonel Sir Oliver St. John was school's past principal. Now, after his death, There is a butterfly, swallowtail butterfly called Papilomeo from Andaman Islands is named after him because he died in Andaman Nicobar. In India, he is best known for infrastructure projects and the educational institutions. India mein his biggest contribution is infrastructure projects and educational institutions he established. Lord Mayor, the fourth Viceroy of India. Mayor was then eventually followed by Lord Northbrook. Lord Northbrook was the last of the good viceroys who came. Actually, he was the last of the good viceroys, the master of inactivity, policy of masterly inactivity. He's the last guy, viceroy of India between 1872 to 1876. During his period, for the first time, we see the visit of Prince of Wales. We also observe the Great Bihar Famine, the Kuka movement in Punjab, and removal of Baroda's Gaikwad kingdom. Gaikwads of Baroda are gone. Prince of Wales visits India. Bihar famine. Kuka movement in Punjab. Four big events. Baroda में Raja Khanderao Gaikwad was actually supposed to be succeeded by Malhar Rao, but since Malhar Rao was rash and extravagant spender as well as despicable tyrant, the British resident in Baroda died also in mysterious stages. So that's why Northbrook deposed or removed Malhar Rao Gaikwad from the throne of Baroda. And for the first time after 1857 revolt, British interfered in the internal affairs of an Indian kingdom. In fact, this is one of the first examples where British did not annex Baroda. They still gave it to the Gaikwad family only. One of the descendants only they diya. But this is the first time British were using their supreme power to punish excessive criminal misconduct by a minister or a king. Got it? So they intervened since it was needed. They punished him, but they did not annex. Annexation was not done. पहले होता तो annexation ही कर लेते. In 1876, Queen Victoria's eldest son traveled to India, Prince of Wales. He arrived in Bombay. For this was the first time Prince is coming to India. Then he went to Madras, Ceylon, and finally Calcutta. The main purpose was to instill loyalty to the British Empress and to affirm the central role of India's survival in the British Empire. In fact, all the loyal Indian kings showered the Prince of Wales with gifts. In fact, so many gifts came that while going back, the prince needed one more ship extra only to collect the gifts. 6 महीने में he amassed so many gifts from Indian kings that jewels, paintings, antiques, weapons, live animals, embroideries, brocades, every form of contemporary art of that period they gifted. This gift eventually became the first collection of what we call the British Museum. This was British Museum. Prince Edward's visit 1876. ये था British Museum. And in return, what did Prince of Wales give? Bikmanga Kaika. He gave us a copy of Rig Veda translated to English by Max Muller. He took everything from us. रिवर्स में हमको क्या दिया? भीख. During Northbrook's period, we see the growth of Kuka movement. They were led by Balak Singh or Bhagat Jawahar. The idea of why it is called Kuka movement is basically they used to give these long shoutings called kook kook. They screamed and shouted, took turbans in their hands and hair streaming in the air. They used to rotate their head and hair used to stream around in the air. They were basically somewhere between Sikhism and Sufis. Baba Ram Singh. The main idea, he and his followers were zealous cattle protectors. They hated Muslims who killed cows and the British who allowed cows to be slaughtered. In 1870, Baba Ram Singh and a group of his followers assassinated four Muslim butchers in Amritsar. Eventually, Kukas were attacked and executed, and few others were exiled. The movement itself was suppressed completely. In 1872, during Northbrook's period, Kuka, which is Baba Ram Singh's followers, and Muslims had a riot. 68 Kukas were eventually apprehended, 50 were blown up with guns. You can say Kukas were like the Bajrangal of the 1872, the beef brigade of the 1872. Baba Ram Singh was charged with aiding and abetting crime and was eventually transported to Rangoon, where he died in 1885. And this movement received only a small amount of support from mainstream Sikh who remained loyal to British. Hookah movement was suppressed. One interesting aspect about Northbrook's viceregalship is the Great Bihar Famine, 1873-74. The British government resorted first time, in fact, see, पहले famine हुआ था पहले भी, but whenever famine used to happen, British government used to just ignore us. But this was the first time during Northbrook's period that British government took massive effort to famine relief. In fact, the relief was so successful that there were really literally no casualties. That's a big thing. But first time and the last time where British government was generous towards us. Because after Northbrook came Lytton. During Lytton's period, again there was a famine. No effort was done by the British to protect us. Saidinesh, Kuka movement is primarily aimed at controlling Muslims and actually opposing cow slaughter and selling and eating of cow meat. So remember, Lord Northbrook, massive famine, Bihar famine, massive effort, no casualties. Whereas after Northbrook, Lord Lytton, again a famine in Madras and Bombay, Mysore and Hyderabad, literally no effort. More than 10 million people died. Lytton period, people died. Northbrook period, no issues. Not really, AW, not really. Singh is surname in many communities, not just only Sikh. On January 15, Northbrook period, may we also see the establishment of IMD, Indian Meteorological Department in Calcutta. Eventually, it was located to Shimla, then Pune, and finally to New Delhi. In fact, during Canning's period, if you remember, there was income tax 5% on rupees 500 and above. That was repealed by Northbrook. Remember, Canning introduced income tax 5% on earning 500 rupees or 500 rupees per annum and above. That Northbrook cancelled now. He removed it. Northbrook also encouraged intercaste marriages. In fact, intercaste marriages were permitted legally now. Civil marriages and Arya Samaj marriages were actually permitted under the Universal Marriages Act of 1872. This is what eventually became Special Marriages Act in India in 1952. Universal Marriages Act. So, intercaste marriage, civil marriage, Arya Samaj marriage, all of these got legal backing during Northbrook's period. The greatest achievement of Northbrook was as an energetic reformer was improving the quality of government of British Raj. In fact, he was the first Lord of Admiralty. He reduced taxes, reduced bureaucratic hurdles, took massive effort to save Indians from famine, reduced starvation, and also controlled widespread unrest. So you could conclude that Northbrook was a good viceroy, right? Right? Northbrook was a good viceroy. So for today, so far we've seen a scanning, Elgin, Mayo, sorry, Lawrence, and Northbrook. Right? Let us end this session here for today. Let us meet tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. We will see some more previous year questions and MCQs, and then we'll also be seeing the Viceroys from Lytton onwards. Thank you for your time, guys. You have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Yes, ye ho jaye, we'll do it. Mostly tomorrow Viceroys will finish off. Tomorrow or day after maximum. Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.